You ever walk away from a conversation and something just feels off? Not obviously bad, nothing clearly wrong, but your mind won't leave it alone. You start replaying small details, the way they responded, the tone they used, that moment where something felt slightly different, but you can't explain why. And the strange part is, it's not even what they said. It's how unclear it felt. If that sounds familiar, take a second and subscribe. This is exactly the kind of thing most people experience, but rarely understand. Most people think stress at work comes from obvious problems, pressure, deadlines, conflict, but sometimes the hardest thing to deal with is uncertainty. When someone is consistent, your mind relaxes. You know where you stand, you know how to respond. But when someone is unpredictable, your mind starts searching, trying to read between the lines, trying to interpret tone, trying to figure out what that moment actually meant. And this is where everything shifts. It's not the conversation that stays with you, it's the lack of clarity. Your mind doesn't like unfinished meaning, so it keeps going back, again and again, trying to solve something that was never clearly defined. Pay attention to this, it changes the whole experience. That feeling of being off around someone is often your mind trying to stabilize uncertainty. You're not overthinking. You're trying to make sense of something that never fully made sense. And when this happens repeatedly, something subtle starts to change. You begin preparing for interactions differently, thinking ahead more, rehearsing more, filtering more, not because you lack confidence, but because your mind is trying to reduce unpredictability. And over time, that creates pressure. Not from what's happening, but from what might happen. That's why certain people feel heavier to be around, even if nothing obvious is wrong. Because your mind never gets to settle. Here's the shift. Not something you force, something you notice. The next time you walk away from one of those conversations and your mind starts replaying it, just pause for a moment. Notice what your brain is trying to do. It's trying to create certainty, trying to fill in gaps, trying to understand something that wasn't clear. But not everything unclear needs to be solved. Some interactions stay unresolved, and that's not something you need to carry. Because when you stop trying to fully decode every moment, something starts to ease. Your mind stops chasing meaning and starts letting moments pass. Not perfectly, not instantly, but enough to feel lighter. Because sometimes, it's not the person that keeps you stuck. It's the question your mind never got to answer. And once you see that, you don't get pulled back into it the same way. If this felt familiar, stay with this kind of thinking. And more importantly, start noticing when your mind is trying to solve something that never had a clear answer. That's where the loop begins. And that's also where it starts to loosen.